Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I'm doing a much requested beginner's guide to Gwent resources. So we're going to go through all of the resources in Gwent, how they're obtained, and what they do. And if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, you can always leave a like. So let's start with the obvious one, and that is your kegs. These are your card packs. This is where you're going to get more cards. You can buy kegs for ore, which is one of your other resources. You can also acquire kegs in certain bundles for money. So for example, the Ultimate Starter Pack gives you a load of kegs from different sets. So let's go to see how we can buy kegs with ore. We go to card kegs here, and you'll see these are your options. Now, Ultimate Premium kegs, these contain animated cards, but bear in mind this costs money rather than ore, but everything down here will cost ore. We have our faction kegs. These contain cards from a specific faction. So the Northern Realms kegs have exclusively Northern Realms cards. And this is from any set. So what is a set? Well, every time Gwent has had an expansion, it's added a new set of cards to the game. And so those kegs, these are set kegs, will only draw cards from that pool of cards. So Merchants of Ophir keg will only give you cards which were added in the Merchants of Ophir expansion. Similarly, base set kegs will only give you cards from the original set. So if you're looking for a specific card, sometimes it's maybe worth finding out which set that card is from. With faction kegs, if there's a certain faction that you enjoy playing, I think these are definitely worth picking up to expand your collection for that faction in order to give you more options to play with that faction. These are bought with ore, and it costs 100 ore per keg. When we open a keg, which we'll do now, you get some different choices. We're just going to go through that as part of our resources. You can see I have different kinds of kegs. So we'll open a base set keg here. So Shoop smashes the keg and we can see what's inside. And oh, this one's purple. So you can see there's no glow here. This means this is a common card. Blue glow here means this is a rare card. Purple glow means this is a epic card. And if it was gold, it would be a legendary. So you can see your rarities there. This is a Scoia'tael card, you can tell from the card back. This is a Skellige card. This is a Scoia'tael card. This is a neutral card, so boom. And epics are always gold or above. This one you can see a little purple diamond here, and we got Merktebrak. Now we have symbols down here. These tell us about what is already in our collection. This tells me I have 2 Elven Scouts in regular already, so the kind of common version, and 2 premiums. So I have 2 regular Elven Scouts and 2 premium Scouts in my collection. I have 2 Haymay Protectors and 1 premium, and I have premium Merktebrak, but I don't have regular Merktebrak, so now we have regular Merktebrak as well. Our 5th card is a choice. And we can see our cards here. This purple here tells us that this is a Skellige card. Black here means this is a Nilfgaard. Brown is for neutrals. Then you have red for monsters. You have green for Scoia'tael. You have blue for Northern Realms, and you have a orangey kind of color for Syndicate. So this will help you guys figure out which factions these cards belong to. And you have a choice. So, you know, if I was going for, say, Nilfgaard cards, then I could make sure I pick the Nilfgaard one. If I was going for neutrals, then I've got options. And I can pick what the set is. And I can tell, you know, what I have already in my collection. So that's basically kegs. So, I want to get some kegs. How do I get ore? That is your next question. And how do I get resources in general? Because some things that you do in Gwent will reward you with a resource. You know, it's not always a specific one, but it'll be a small amount of a resource. For example, when you play a game, at the end of the game, you will receive a small amount of resources. It could be ore, it could be scraps, you know, it could be meteorite powders, it could be cards. So just by playing the game, you will start to earn resources. On top of that, we have our quests. So we have our quests here, and these tend to offer ore rewards. So at the moment I have to win 5 matches as Nilfgaard. I've done 4 so far. If I win 1 more, I will get 60 ore. This one's for Northern Realms, this one's just for winning. And you get a new quest every day, and you can have up to 3 quests, you know, saved up at a time. So if I don't complete a quest today, I won't gain a new one as I already have 3, but if I complete a quest, there'll be a space and I can obtain a new quest. You can also reroll quests that you don't like with this button here. Another way of obtaining resources is at the end of the game you have a GG button, which is saying it means good game. So for those of you who don't know, GG means good game, and you click that and it will give your opponent a small amount of resources, just as a, you know, kind of like a handshake in like a, yeah, good game. Similarly, if your opponent does that for you, you get resources. So it's just a courtesy thing, and I send GGs for every game. I will just GG people regardless. Some people, you know, say that, oh, if you do something obnoxious, they don't send a GG, but I feel like that's kind of petty. Everyone gets a GG from me. Everyone. You get resources, and then hopefully I get one back. I get resources. Everybody wins. Okay, so that's one of your ways of obtaining ore. On top of that, we have the reward book down here, which is another way to obtain resources, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, and those are kind of your main ways of obtaining ore. So next up we have scraps, and scraps are used to craft cards within the deck builder. So if we go into the deck builder, I can show you guys how to craft cards. Someone commented saying they didn't know they could craft cards. So let me just reset the filters really quickly. There we go. So I don't currently have Basilisk Venom. So in order to craft this card, I right click on it, I click craft. It costs 800 scraps for a legendary. It costs 200 scraps for an epic. It costs 80 scraps for a rare and 30 for a common. So the rarer the card, the more expensive the card. We spend our scraps, and now we have Basilisk Venom, and we can put this into our decks. So that is how you create cards. But you might be saying, Jaggerous, how do I get scraps? Well, we talked about the GG rewards and the end of game rewards. Those are some of the ways you can get small amounts of scraps. But you can also recycle cards. So let's pick a card that I actually don't need. Let's say Reynard, for example. Now, Reynard is a gold card, and I already have his premium version and his regular version. And I can only put one of these in the deck because it's a gold card. So I don't actually need his regular version. So if I click on this, I then have this option here to mill him. This means recycle, and you'll see that I get a quarter of the crafting cost, right? So if he costs 800 to craft, he costs 200 to mill. If I mill him, I will gain 200 scraps. So you can see the card gets recycled, it goes grey, and I gained 200 scraps. Now, premiums, bear in mind that if you mill these, you will get a small amount of meteorite powder for doing so, which is your resource used to craft premiums. So let's just craft him again, just because I like having both versions in my collection. I'm kind of weird like that, but I don't need this, right? So that's a card that I could craft, recycle. Similarly, if there's maybe a card that you feel like you don't really ever play, then that might be a good option in order to recycle it and gain resources. And again, when you recycle cards, you're going to get less than the crafting cost. So Boris, for example, here, he will mill for 50, crafts for 200 because he's epic. Similarly, if we look down here at, say, a Hideous Feast, there it is. You can see here that it mills for 20, crafts for 80, and then if we were going to mill the premium, we would get 20 scraps and 20 meteorite powder. Then we have our commons, and you can see here, craft for 30, mill for 10. So you do get less resources from recycling than it would cost to craft. So you have to recycle a few cards in order to craft one of the same value. So next up, we have our meteorite powder. So meteorite powder is used to create premium versions, these animated versions of the cards. And meteorite powder is something that you can buy in the shop. So if you want to get some premiums, then you can always buy yourself some meteorite powder and create some premium. So let's find a card. Let's find a card that I want to have as a premium, for example. Let's say Oriana, for example. She's kind of a cool looking card. So you can see she costs 800 to transmute, and transmute means to turn this card premium. So I don't make a new copy of it. I change my version from the regular version to the premium version. So there we go, that cost me 800 meteorite powder. So you can see this one's gone grey, and then if I go across to the premium version, oh my gosh, it's just dead children. Then I have the premium now, and this is a really cool premium, for example. So that's what meteorite powder is used for. You can also use meteorite powder to buy some cosmetics in the shop. They have cosmetics in the shop sometimes which cost meteorite powder, but usually those do cost, real world money. So that's what your meteorite powder is for. And again, you can obtain meteorite powder by recycling premiums, but in doing so you do get less than the cost of crafting, so we're not going to do this because I don't actually have heaps of meteorite powder. One thing I do want to quickly mention also, though, is your Thronebreaker cards. So if we look at the different sets, this is the Thronebreaker set. And if you purchase Thronebreaker, which is a standalone single-player game which utilizes Gwent as a mechanic, you will get the standard versions of all of these cards. And then as you play through the story, you unlock the premium ones. So if there's cards here, you can craft them. But, if you buy Thronebreaker, you will get all of them for free in Gwent. So that's just worth being aware of. But only if, I believe, you do it in GOG. I'm not 100% sure if it works in Steam. So just be a little bit careful with that. You're better to pick up the game in GOG because that's then your GOG account, which is linked to Gwent. So that's one of these ways. And I just want to mention that in terms of cards and transmuting. Okay. So, those are our resources. The last one we have here is reward points. And reward points are used to unlock nodes in the reward book. So this is why we kind of waited with talking about that. Sometimes you can earn reward points from quests. So occasionally you'll get a quest that earns you reward points. You also get a big chunk of reward points at the end of the season, and the higher you are on the ladder, the more reward points you will earn. You also get reward points and some other things from completing contracts. So your contracts are like little quests. If you complete them, you get a reward. So when I did the tutorial, I got 100 ore. If I spend a reward point, I earn reward points. And these are your quests that I've unlocked, for example, and I can see then, if I go here, I can see my not yet complete. So for example, if I spend 50,000 ore, I will earn 10 reward points. And this is a progressive quest. So when I spent 100 ore, I got 1. When I spent 1,000 ore, I got 2. When I spent 10,000 ore, and so on and so forth. And that's one of the ways that you can earn additional rewards. And there's some fun stuff in here as well, like icons and avatars and that sort of thing. So it's worth having a little look. That's one of the ways of gaining rewards. Okay, so reward points. Another way to obtain them is through Gwent's journey. This is like their battle pass. The current one is about to end, and then it will revert to a different system in which you earn reward points just by playing. You don't have to necessarily do quests, but basically every time I level up my journey, I will earn reward points. So if we look at here, I get crown pieces, and you get crown pieces from winning a round. And then if I fill up this bar, I will progress in the journey and I'll get more reward points. And you can see the standard level here, which is free. You would get reward points every time you level up. If you have the paid version, the premium version, you will also earn cosmetic rewards and sometimes additional reward points. When this ends, basically you just need to get crowns every day. They're called your kind of daily crowns, and that will earn you reward points. So what are reward points for? Well, here we have the reward book. And here are various reward trees. So if I click on, say, Nilfgaard here, we can see that we have various trees with different nodes. And if I unlock a node, for example, this one costs 1 reward point and gives me 40 scraps. This one, again, similarly. Then I have these story nodes. Now, the first story node that I unlock will give me 250 ore. And that costs 5 reward points, which is 50 ore per... 50 ore per point, which you might think, like, that doesn't seem very good, when here I can get, like, you know, I might be able to get more ore from lower numbers of points. However, the second node that you unlock is going to give you 300 ore. The third one within one tree is going to give you 350, and the fourth one 500. So I get all of these nodes, then I get a decent, like, I think it's 1,400 ore, or 14 kegs, for 20 reward points, which is actually a pretty good rate of exchange. You also have these ones here, which give you, like, kegs. For example, if I do this, 5 reward points, I will get 2 Nilfgaard kegs, 160 scrap, 90 meteorite powder. And that's because this is the Nilfgaard tree. And if there's a certain faction you like, you know, there's trees for all of those. And then you also get trees here for different leaders and stuff. And you can go through here. You know, 1 reward point is going to give me 50 ore, for example. But then if I go for these story nodes, again, I have the increasing returns on this tree as well. And each tree has its own separate set, right? So if I do this one, I'll be on level 1. But if I do this on another tree, I would be, you know, this tree I wouldn't be on level 1, for example. Like, so I'll unlock this. Boom. So now I've got level 1, get a little bit of story over here, and I got some ore. If I unlock this one, there we go. I've gone up to level 2, get some more story, and I got 300 ore that time. Now, bear in mind that if I then go, say, to the Scoia'tael tree, and I look at these story nodes, you can see that these ones haven't progressed, because each tree progresses independently. So this is a really, really good way of earning resources and earning ore early on, is to go and spend your reward points. Now, every season you'll also have your seasonal rewards. So this season, Season of Magic this month, then you have your seasonal trees. And these, once you've kind of got more established in Gwent, these are worth doing because you can get cool rewards, like I got a card back. But these reset at the end of the month. So if I haven't finished this tree, which I haven't, at the end of the month this tree disappears and I will get a new tree with different rewards. So it's just worth being aware of that when you're new, that let's say you're doing like the nodes with the books. If you don't have enough time to finish it in the month, that will then be removed from the game and you'll get a different tree in the next month. So it's not worth doing these when you're completely new. You have different tabs as well with different trees, so it's worth kind of exploring the trees and seeing what the various rewards are in order to decide what it is that you want to spend your points on. So that's your reward books, and these, like I said, they're a really great way of earning points, and to do that you're going to need to earn these keys. You can do that through your contracts, you can do that through just playing ranked, you can do that through quests, and you can do it through journey, and once journey ends in the gap between battle passes, you'll just be able to do it by playing. Okay? So, those are your Gwent resources. I hopefully think I've covered everything. If you do have any questions about resources at all, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them and help you out. If there's anything I missed as well, you know, comment in the comments below and help other people out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, you can leave a like. You can find me on Twitter at Jaggerous, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous. And if there's any other beginner content or content you'd like to see, let me know. Have an awesome day, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. Bye! Well, hold up, I forgot one thing. Login rewards. So every day that you log into Gwent, you will receive a reward. And each subsequent day that reward changes. It cycles through 7 different rewards, and then once you've gone through the 7, it goes back to the start. And that is just for launching the game. So on your computer, on your phone, whatever, open the game and you get a reward. Right, now bye for reals this time.